Hello and welcome to episode 24 of the Third and Short podcast. As you can see, we've got a special guest with us, which is becoming a bit of a norm now. We're trying to get as many on as possible. The best barber in, I won't even say Blackpool, I'll say Northwest, Mr. Orrin. Many of the viewers will know, especially those from Blackpool. Everyone sort of knows of Orrin, seems to have got around. But yeah, a welcome addition to the group quite a while back now. Someone who I suppose relatively new to the NFL scene. And we've got him on just to sort of talk about, his journey. It's quite clear who supports from that jersey he's wearing. And there's a bit of an American connection as well, which, it's always interesting for us. So yeah, I suppose over to you, Orrin. Why the NFL and why the Rams?
Hello, first of all. A few things with sort of why I chose the Rams. So I'll go through how I got into the NFL first, because that's a bit quicker. I suppose, like most people, you watch the Super Bowl because it's an excuse to get a few drinks in you with your pals on a Sunday night and take the Monday off work, But like with my profession, I'm off on a Monday anyway. So there was always the excuse of, I'm going to get up in the morning. So, I'm down for the Super Bowl. And I'd said, I think I probably watched, 2020. I reckon I probably watched the last 5 Super Bowls. And I said probably for the last 3, right, I'm going to make an effort this year. I'm going to watch some NFL this year. I'm going to take the time out of my day and I'm going to do a bit of research, and then I can watch Sunday nights because I'm not up on a Monday, and I've just never done it. And it wasn't last year. Was it last year? Yeah, I think it would have been 2020, the 49ers Chiefs. And I went to, if you're local to Blackpool, you'll know Dirty Blondes. I went to Dirty Blondes, watched that, and my son at the time, was 4 months old. 3 months old even, and I got a phone call off my girlfriend at 12:30, 1 o'clock. She's like, "You're gonna have to come home." He's not well. It's game over. I need help. So I was a bit gutted. I was like, I was really enjoying the atmosphere. It's a decent vibe, and we kept getting all the free beer because the stream went down. So I was like, I'll go home. She can get some kit, and I'll just watch it in bed. So it's exactly what I did. Came home, went upstairs, jumped in bed. I'm sat on one side, got a little boy in the middle, and Mrs. fast asleep. So stuck the game on. And I realised I had no fucking clue what was going on, because I've never watched the Super Bowl. I've just been too busy getting pissed. So I'm watching it. I was watching the Super Bowl, and as we know, it was a decent game, wasn't it? It was a good game. It was really good to watch, and it was because I paid attention. It was like a bit of a light bulb moment. Like, you've been missing out here, And it had been so long as well that I hadn't really been into football because I'm a Blackpool fan. So there was all
my NFL obsession tied in well with the Oyston.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought, right, well, I'll give it a shot, and so then I had this sort of like, how am I going to pick a team? How am I going to do this? And it was funny, really, because to be fair, like, the Rams are quite an obvious choice for me, but I just couldn't make my mind up. I couldn't find a connection to any other team, and I sort of thought, well, obviously you're not going to, because there's like 3 solid connections with the Rams here. So I settled on the Rams for a number of reasons. The first one is because, as you said before, talking about the American connection, so my girlfriend's from California, and it's it's easy access for me. Like, when we go over to the States, we do try and go over every year, or at least every 18 months. Obviously, we've not managed to at the moment, but it's easy access. I'm going to be able to go to a Rams game without a doubt. And one of our friends, Janae, her dad's actually recently been featured on like on the Rams website and on their Instagram and that, like he's a proper super fan. Like goes tailgating, he's called Captain Rambro, he's got his own jersey, he's all like blue and yellow camo and stuff, proper cool guy. And like Janae's, she goes to every game since they've been back, of course. And they go to tailgating parties, they go to every game at home. So it's like it's another easy access sort of, right, I can get to a Rams game. The other thing was I fucking love blue and gold. I mean, I love blue, but I love blue and gold. My entire business with branding, the shop, everything is blue and gold. My car's blue. Like I just love blue. So it just made sense, you know. And obviously, Aaron Donald's an absolute beast. So there's always that. Aaron Donald also really likes dolphins. And there's nothing bad about dolphins.
another shoehorn in there for if you're not watching on YouTube, watch on YouTube for that moment. I'm not going to spoil
it. One of the defensive interior line just chilling with a dolphin. You just don't expect to see it. Just a different side of it
as well.
NFL Defensive Player of the Year, absolute monster of a man. Just chilling with a really, really cute animal.
Spirit animal, dolphin. Amazing. So that's me. That's how I got into the NFL. Obviously, like I say, NFL's sort of getting into it. I think probably the same as, you know, a lot of other people. But with the Rams, it was just a very, very logical choice. Just, you know, I was going online and being like, find my NFL team, please. No shit. And it was coming back with like the Packers and Patriots and all this. And I was just going, that's like, it's just like all them kids at school who used to support Man United because they were good. And I'm not about that. Like, I want a bit of something to just, you know, you don't really know what you're going to get, do you? I mean, it might be a bit different because we haven't got Jared Goff. But, you know, didn't know what you were going to get. It's just at least it's a bit interesting rather than. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad I didn't choose the Pats, to be fair, because they fluffed it. But somewhere in the middle is done me all right.
You've probably picked an all right team, a team that definitely got.
They usually get to the playoffs.
Rams are solid. Probably be better with Stafford as well.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, it's probably worth saying early on as well, like, obviously with being relatively new to the sport, like, this was my first, the season just gone was my first full season of watching, so like, my knowledge is quite limited. But
you've come on the right podcast.
I'll take that. I need all the help I can get. I think there's only what? How many members in the much spoken of WhatsApp group now? There's got to be 60 or so.
About 60, I think,
yeah.
And I feel like there's only like 4 or 5 people in there that really know what they're talking about, and everyone else is just like, come on, feed me information.
Just lurking in the shadows, reading everything possible.
About 57-ish, isn't it?
It's going to be like, it's a perfect time. It's like I said, COVID has kind of been a blessing for you because you've managed to actually stay up and watch the games because you won't have to go to work, so you can in your spare time watch these games and watch everything. So it's been a perfect year to kind of start because you can watch every game if you wanted to. Really good.
Yeah, that's it. It's been ideal. I mean, there's been them times as well where I found an article that was just, you know, sort of saying these are the must watch games on NFL Game Pass. So I just started like plowing through a few of those, and I wouldn't have had the time normally. Like I'm not trying to sound like a knob, but like I'm a genuinely busy person, so I don't get much free time. So it's been good, and like you say, it's just been the right time, the right year.
Do you feel like it's one of those that could become an obsession?
Dangerously,
yeah.
I've got a terribly obsessive personality. Like, I just get hooked, and it's funny actually because it seems to be. theme with people that I listen to, or one of the most recent that I can remember was when Mark was on, Mark the draft expert, and a few other lads I can't think of off the top of my head, but a lot of people seem to say the same thing. You know, I've got quite an addictive personality, so it's been easy to get hooked, and it is that way. And I have always just been like that. Like I sink my teeth into something, and I just can't sort of let up. I think obviously, like we've just said, you know, this year in COVID or last year in COVID and having a load of time, it's funny really because we've sort of almost pushed ourselves into, like, this is me and my girlfriend, we've almost pushed ourselves into always having something to do. So I've almost ended up with not as much free time as I would have liked now, you know, knowing now what I knew then, and I probably freed up loads of time coming into this year, but we weren't expecting to be locked down again. So, but yeah, I think I'm running a risk. I mean, I'm going to get into the draft this year. I think that's going to whet my appetite a little bit, and then ready for the season starting. We're hoping to be over in America in October, so it could just be a downward spiral from them, because I reckon once I've been to a game, it's like I'm in then.
Not coming back to the UK.
Yeah.
Think about it, mate. Honestly, we're trying to buy a house at the moment, or try to get a mortgage at the moment, and for what we want to spend, you can go over to America and buy a mansion. It's like genuinely like a decent prospect to just move over there. Yeah. You'll see me in a couple of years. I'll be a super fan dressed in blue and yellow camo. Pickup truck.
Have you got a super fan name though?
I'll have to come up with one. No, I haven't. What am I going to do?
We are Ransom.
Los Angeles. I don't know.
I think we spoke early doors of you know, when we started this podcast, and you'd mentioned you were sort of on like a similar part of the path that I was on maybe a year or two ago, and it has just spiraled massively. You know, that first full season where you think, right, I'm a fan, you know, I'm engaged, I watch every game now, and it's like the next year then, right, what's the draft? And it's like today, to be fair, is the first time during, I suppose, my NFL fandom that I've been excited about the day free agency starts, and it's like refreshing Twitter every sort of 10 seconds, like, what's the latest, who's reporting what, and it's
Big
like
Shaq,
and then it's just shit because you're a Giants fan and there's nothing. And it's just like it has just become a solid addiction. Like I finished work today 4:15, got my tea quickly as possible. Mrs. took the dog for the walk. I was straight on Madden trying to get an hour in before this. It's just like anything at the moment to get that fix whilst the season's not on. It's just mental. And yet there was a North London derby at the weekend, and I probably spoke to about 2 people about it, because it just isn't there anymore. Something's clearly taken over it.
Yeah.
I mean, that Lamella goal was thinking.
Yeah, it was, but it meant nothing because Spurs are shite, the same as the Giants.
It's funny because I think we briefly spoke about it at one point. Like I'm literally almost like 12 months behind you, aren't I?
Yeah.
I think it's like it's near as damn it bang on. So like you just said, oh, it's free agency, and I'm like, oh shit, did that start today?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I definitely see. I mean, I see what sort of, you know, I see the sort of involvement that you have in some conversations, and obviously you're doing this now, and the sort of the knowledge that you've acquired over, you know, a short space of 12 months. And what, you know, like you say, whilst you might not know everything or everything that you want to know, like you're clearly more knowledgeable than I am. But that's where I want to be able to have like a very sort of decent conversation about American football with people, which I can do, you know. Obviously I wouldn't be on here otherwise, but it's knowing certain things, isn't it? And it's like, for the time being, like I know what I need to know about certain players from the Rams, but then Chloe's dad will come over, who's like a lifelong Browns fan, and he's like, oh, you know, like Alfalfa Switzer from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm like, I have no idea who that guy is. Oh, he did like X, Y, Z, and I'm like, yeah, that's beyond me. I'm not there yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, agreed. It's brilliant. It's funny. I'll sometimes in the group, someone will mention a player's name, and I'm like, I want to get involved in this conversation because I really like it, but let me just have a quick Google. Just
Copy-
a quick Wikipedia just to
copy
sort
and
of see
paste
what's going on.
copy and
Yeah,
paste
like,
what Wikipedia
oh yeah,
says.
it was like, oh yeah, he really likes.
He had a great
throwing to the wide
season in
receivers on
college.
the slot route, don't he? It's just like just anything possible just to get involved. But
Winging it's his day.
absolutely, I mean, I've got a feeling. I remember this is
Just
one of the
the
things
podcast.
that haunts me about this podcast is the first episode. I remember me and Matt were picking sort of dark horses in the divisions about who do you reckon, and I picked Steelers from the AFC, not even in the AFC. And I was like, it's just like it just. But then that WhatsApp group was just completely because there is those people that are really knowledgeable, like your Turners, your Marks, you know, Stuart puts in there every now and again.
JP,
it's like JP, Bones. Bones. Even Jordan now, especially from the college scene, you know, he just come out of nowhere. It's like I'd just sit and I'd read, I'd listen to them talk about it all day long, just to try and, like I've said many a time before, my opinions are basically regurgitated opinions of experts that I'd listen to or read on Twitter.
There is definitely that like feed down, isn't there? You know, you do get that. Like my opinions are, of course, really, really opinionated anyway, but my opinions are, of course, like sort of taken from different articles or different YouTube videos that I've read, and I may agree or disagree with them, so I'll form an opinion based on that. But I do find myself a lot of the time sort of reading stuff that other you know previous guests have said, and I think, oh yeah, I agree with that. So that's then my opinion, you know, and I dare say that they've read that on like ESPN or BR or something, and it's just like, you know, before you know it.
Yeah.
But
and I'll die on the hill for that opinion because it was mine from the beginning.
It's funny because a lot of Mark's college knowledge has filtered down to us, where we kind of take his word as gospel, really. You know, some of the players he's recommended to me that would fit the Raiders, because he's a Raiders fan, obviously I am as well. I've not disagreed with any yet, but it's only because he's telling me that. It's like,
I can't wait for you to draft one and they'd be shit.
I know.
Mark's he's out of the group, never in the pod again.
Hopes that happens because I will hang him out to dry.
Paris Ford.
I fucking love Paris Ford. Didn't even know who he was 12 months ago.
There's an easy way to test. Well, I say you'd have to tell us the truth. There's an easy way to test it. You've got to ask him what his opinion of Jared Goff was before he got drafted. What was his opinion of Wentz before he got drafted? I read something the other day, actually, and it was something like there's, I think, between like, it might be something, so from 2009 to 2016, something like that, no first round or first pick, maybe first round quarterback is still with the team that drafted him. Mind blowing. It's
nuts, isn't it? It is. It's crazy.
Believe it.
And you can see what an effect this year's happening with the cap reduction. It's like the names that are just, it's like, oh, they're cut ties or they're leaving, you know. I know Aaron Jones has now re-signed, but when I read that, I was like, oh my God, like that's huge.
There's a lot of that, isn't there, where they're cutting players to re-sign them on a cheaper deal. Which it just, I mean, still millions of dollars, isn't it? So
it's still, I wonder, I mean, again, you know, excuse me if I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. But I just wonder here, I mean, I know it's obvious that a lot of franchises do like to leave players on a rookie contract for as long as they can, as long as they're not a quarterback. But I just wonder if you're going to start seeing some players that are just actually very good, just being tracked a little bit like a fucking second-rate citizen and being left on a rookie deal because there's the cap space just isn't there to accommodate. And I think, I don't know, you can look at it from two sides, can't you? That's obviously quite a negative take, but
it's a business at the end of the day.
That's it. They're there to make money, aren't they?
Look at Kansas City. They've obliterated their O-line to accommodate Patrick Mahomes' $500 million deal.
And then you look at the other end of the spectrum where Tom Brady takes a pay cut to keep all his players.
Yeah, because he's skint, isn't he? He's not got a 20-year career behind.
I mean, that's the thing. He's got TV12 and he's got sponsorships. I'm sure Mahomes will have sponsorships for State Farm.
Mahomes is at the start of his
career, isn't he?
Mahomes is at the start of his career, isn't he? You know,
he could have an injury tomorrow.
Yeah, Brady's had his career, so That's the difference.
Also, as well, I find the
equal.
Chiefs thing weird. I find the Chiefs thing weird because I've read that they're restructuring Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill, paying more in the signing bonuses. So I don't know what. Something about me screams that they know about Fisher and Schwartz. Can Schwartz come back from that injury? I don't know. I spoke to Josh about it quite a bit. I didn't know what his injury was. Josh is basically saying that he's had a terrible, terrible back injury, and the worry is that he'll never get back to what he was. So you take the risk there. He didn't expect Fisher to go, but maybe these are GMs and teams for a reason, aren't they? They obviously know something we don't. Whether they've got their eye on someone in the draft that's not got as high of draft profile as what maybe he should have, and they think they'll get him. Who knows? But I can't imagine them wanting to leave Mahomes exposed.
Look at what he did in the Super Bowl. Did he scramble something like over 400 yards? Which is just four times the field. I mean, I would love them to have a piss poor O-line. It's not going to really matter for us because we get like half a sack a year, but we can at least it's looking like we're going to get Melvin Ingram, I think, from the Chargers. I don't know. I just don't like the fucking Chiefs. That's the bottom line.
Isn't it funny? Because for as long as I've been watching the Super Bowl, I was like, fuck the Pats, because I think it's something to do with arrogant success. I think it's good to be successful. It's fantastic to be successful. It's great to see success occur in the regular world, but when it comes down to sport and it all gets a little bit like that, what do they call it? That siege mentality, and it's like, fuck off. I don't want to see you do well. And it's like with Brady, I can't say I hate Brady. It bores me. And I think the reason he bores me is because I've got into the NFL at a time where quarterbacks aren't quarterbacks anymore. And Brady is a quarterback. Quarterbacks are effectively fucking running backs, aren't they? They don't stand still. And that's very exciting to watch, And you look at Brady and you're like, and it's like now with the Chiefs, like I really want to see Mahomes do well because I think he's a fantastic player. I think he walks strangely, but that's by the by.
And red feet he's got.
But I just don't want to see the Chiefs winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl after Super Bowl because it's just a bit bland and boring, and it's not good for the sport, in my opinion. It's not good for the sport, but of course, the NFL owners see it very differently, don't they? It's great to have one team that's very successful. You can build the league upon this one franchise and these players, and it's it's I don't know, it's strange.
We spoke about it. I don't think there's going to be another dynasty like the Pats.
Yeah, I think it's too competitive now, isn't it?
I think
it's like back in the 90s.
Shorter shelf life as well.
Like back in the 90s, like Premier League wise, it was always United or Arsenal, and now it's literally since then it's Leicester, Chelsea, City. It's like they're trying to make it obviously a bit more open to obviously everybody.
City have been the only one who've sort of dominated, haven't they? But there's been other teams that have sniffed around and pinched one. I think
like you said, Matt, he's too competitive now, and I think I don't profess to understand what the hell is going on at the moment with these deals of, like Taysom Hill that's signing for 140 mil, but they're all voidable years. But clearly, teams are finding a way to spend
a loophole, haven't they?
Yeah. So there's not going to be a team that can build that dynasty because teams will build. I mean, you've got to give credit to the Bucs, like organizational wise, to keep that team together is brilliant, especially when they had 3 key points going into free agency.
Probably more. Like I said, we had Shaq Barrett, obviously Rob Gronkowski, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown.
Yeah. I don't know if you'll keep AB.
Devontae David.
Yeah, you got to look, and the fact that they've managed to keep at least the majority of them so far, and potentially the rest, it's weird because I didn't really ever understand the cap. I've never been at a point where I fully got into it. I don't understand how a 140 mil deal can only affect 5 mil a year or what, random figures. I don't get how it all works, but there's clearly ways around it now. And it's amazing because Gettleman's doing fuck all and just says he don't believe in restructuring contracts. And we're sat with 3 mil under cap with loads of holes to fill. it just defies logic. But the teams are clearly finding ways around it. So we'll probably see a more competitive sport than we've ever seen before. We hope. And hopefully one of our team challenges.
It sort of says what we've just been speaking about. That's what we want to see, more competitive sport, and just see,
again, like
an underdog equivalent, someone like Liverpool winning the title. We need a bit of an underdog in the NFL to win Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's like I said, I mean, if you talk about before Brady went to the Bucks, you never thought Bucks would win the Super Bowl that year, did you? Before Brady signed.
Well,
I mean, we had a losing season.
No, absolutely not. No.
So, and everyone would just thought, oh, Brady's going to just die in Tampa. Like, he's just going to retire there and do awful. Nobody expected us to actually do well anyway. There was obviously, Brady's going to obviously do well and get through, but he's gone to the NFC because it's easy or whatever.
I'm still not having it that Brady's the reason the Bucks won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm just
all
saying.
the pieces in place.
I think the season before we had everybody else.
I think Jared Goff would have won the Super Bowl with the Bucks.
We were just a very good team, weren't they? They just
pieces everywhere.
Yeah, they were just. I mean, look at. I can't remember off the top of my head now. It feels like bloody forever ago, but was it? There was a stat, something about the Chiefs' offense just. I mean, obviously they completely failed, didn't they, against the Bucks? But there was a stat that was just unbelievable in the sense of it was either something like the lowest, something that the Chiefs had done. It's just the lowest statistic in a Super Bowl for.
They're only one of 3 teams that haven't scored a touchdown.
Which that's just mind blowing as well.
Considering again, you going into that game, you'd never think Mahomes isn't going to throw a touchdown, even if he is injured.
Even if he was injured, yeah, exactly. I mean, look at the throws he was making. He just couldn't get to anybody. It was crackers. It was absolutely bonkers, that game.
Who was you thinking about, Miss Piggy, wasn't he? Little frog face fucker.
I would have liked. I mean, he didn't. I know we've covered the Super Bowl, but he didn't get much help from his key players.
Slash him in the face to the ball.
Yeah, Kelsey dropped a couple. I would have liked to have seen what happened if one of those momentum, shifters. It might have been a closer game, but it's done now, and it was an absolute blowout more than anything. Which is crazy. And again, that's what shocks me more about the Chiefs then releasing 2 of the key O-line. They know something, because they're not just going to go, oh well, we failed the second time, we'll do a rebuild. They're not going to do that. So they're going to get money from somewhere. And like I say, all these voidable contracts that are happening and stuff at the moment.
Should we do a big Tom shout out? Should we do a big Tom shout and say Chiefs aren't making the playoffs this year?
I'm not doing any wild shouts until the season starts, and then we can record them all.
And then he's going to say the Jags
Giants to win.
My wild shout! I've got 50 quid on the Rams to win the Super Bowl. So
have you gone for
it? This was the first year I didn't put that bet on for the Buccaneers to win the Super Bowl. Every other year I've put it on. This year,
shit.
It's not a bad shout. The Rams. What were they? Probably 20s, something like
that. 18-1. Yeah.
They're not going to be a million miles away.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not sure what's going to happen with regards to okay, we've brought Stafford in, so do we, what support do we get there at offense for him to play with? I mean, there was talk of another lad, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, coming from Detroit. I can't think of his name. He's right.
Golladay.
Kenny Golladay.
Yeah, that would have been it. Yeah. I think it was Chris that mentioned it in the group. Somebody mentioned it in the group anyway. And so I had a little look at him, and I think, I don't know, do you need to? I mean, the Rams just looked so flat last year. I think the only I say that, but you've got Woods and Cup, and I thought they played really well. Van Jefferson was a little bit disappointing, but obviously he was on rookie first year. But I think you have to sort of take a bit of a chop at him this year and just see what he can do. The standout player, in all honesty, and I think you've got to look to really, really sort of work with him, is Cam Akers was just mind blowing. Yeah, so I think that's obviously that was what was missing. Last season was obviously Goff was just terrible. I mean, I feel like the first sort of 4 or 5 games he was actually really quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what he has to do because he just isn't a good mover. He doesn't shake. You know, and then we brought Walford in, and he was class. He was really good. But yeah, I feel like that's what was probably missing. So I think if you pair someone like Akers up with a decent quarterback, I mean, Akers got just in the 2 playoff games, he rushed over 200 yards, which I think is maybe the most any rookie has ever rushed in playoff games. And he broke another record, or it's definitely a franchise record, like over 130 yards rushing or something. And it was a franchise record. Yeah. It was just you know, it was just a shame that he just didn't have the quarterback to feed him what he needed. I think he's going to be a bit of a megastar, to be quite honest.
This is the best thing about the NFL is you're going through the preseason optimism and hope and everything looks rosy, and then it's just going to get shattered, Orrin. just to welcome you aboard.
Yeah.
I'm talking from 2x. I mean, don't get me wrong, I support a terrible team at the moment, but this is the best thing about NFL. I mean, we had a wank season again by all accounts.
Wasn't that bad, was it? Right?
This is my hope. My hope. Pre-season hope. Pre-season hope. Game of the season. Second game of the season. No football we're playing now come October. There it is. But yeah, and that's what I love about it. Like you could have the shitty season. I mean, we finished in second in the worst division of probably history. Never mind the league last season. And yeah, I'm sat here going, right, need the first move to be done by Gettleman. Let's see what happens. And before you know it, come draft day, we'll draft someone. I'm like, yeah, I'm buzzing with that. Amazing. Can't wait to see how good we are. Evan England's going to have a 6th season. And then we just draft again. Yeah. But it's great. And then it's minging during the season. And you have to talk about it every week on a podcast. And then you come to the off season again and you wipe that all out. And you're like, right, we're ready for next season.
What was
year 5 of Gettleman rebuild? Come on.
What was the stat that Mark put in the group? There's only one team that's had only one winning season since 2002, was it? Or something like that, 2003? The fucking Raiders. I've supported them since around that time. So, I've enjoyed one winning season.
To be fair.
And the winning season we had, we were top of the division, we were the number 1 seed, and our quarterback breaks his fucking leg on Christmas Eve. Excellent.
Did you buy a car shirt that week?
I bought one that season. Okay, me.
I bought don't even get me started on buying a fucking jersey. I took receipt of my fucking Jared Goff jersey on like I don't know, maybe the 5th of January or something. But to be fair, I got lucky because it arrived and it had a hole right here. Yeah, it was fucked. The thing was fucked. So oh shit, no, I had 2. I've got 2. I've got a home one as well, the blue one. I'm trying to sell it on eBay at the moment. I don't want a Goff jersey. But yeah, so it came in, it had a hole in it. So I was just like, it took me ages. Obviously, I was talking about it in the chat. Like, it took me ages to get me rip my money back on it, blah, blah. And me, I went for the Vapor Limited. So I was like 160 quid out of pocket or whatever it was, $160 out of pocket, waiting for this refund. So yeah, I mean, this one's not going anywhere, is it? But yeah, if there's anyone that's cursed with jerseys, I'll fight him for the crown.
We'll have a battle on your hands.
The jersey curse.
I mean,
I'm surprised you both call yourselves jersey curses, but none of you bought an Oyston jersey.
I just paid money.
Happened a lot sooner.
I just paid money into his pocket with season tickets for years instead.
Yeah, honestly. I always say the same thing to people when talk about like Blackburn, the Oystons and whatnot. I know this isn't a football podcast, but I always say the same thing to people. Like, I'm all right. I was a bit like fucking disheartened by it, and I was pissed off. But my dad's been going since 1964. It's just like people like that.
Yeah.
So, well, excellent time to look at a bit. Orrin's pulling out the bag.
Done well,
there.
mate. Timed it well.
I think we'll wait for the what is it you're on there?
I'm on a left tonight. I'm trying. I'll be honest. I'm trying to pile through the keg a bit because I love left. It's one of my favourite beers from way back. But it's I feel like it's better out of the bottle. And this on draft, it's not really doing it any justice. So I've got a left glass because what's the point in drinking a beer if it's not out of a corresponding glass? Yeah, I'm trying to plough through the keg a bit. I've had a few. I've only had that a couple of weeks. The machine, and it's little £10 kegs. Won't tell you how many I've gone through. And I've had some really good ones. I've had a Goose IPA on it, which I really like anyway. That was really good. I've just the thing is I had in it last Tiny Rebel Club Tropica, and it was absolutely fucking mint. So this left because I'm so like I'm banging into it in a bottle. I think it's ace, and I'm just dead disappointed with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there it is in all its glory, a fresh draft left.
On an FS this week.
Hey, good choice.
Yeah, makes takes me back to a time when I was in Turkey and nothing else mattered.
Life was simpler.
Yeah,
love it. What is it? Is it a Turkish beer, that one then?
I had it in Turkey. It's just Mediterranean beer, isn't it? I think.
Is it right?
Might even be.
I should also give.
No, it says Turkey. It's from Turkey, actually.
Look at this.
A light up Red Bull cup from Jake at Dirty Blondes in Blackpool.
Who is also in the group chat.
Yeah.
He is.
And that is where we hoped to have hosted a Super Bowl party this year, isn't it? But
yeah, we'll get one. I'm buried out a bit. I've stopped begging for sponsorships now. Someone will come to me eventually.
Just go for the ones that no one's ever heard of, and you might get a sponsorship. That's why Matt's going for the FAs.
Yeah, well,
go local, mate. Go local.
We're massive in Turkey.
Was it Saturday I bumped into you in Asda?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I thought I'll take a trip down beer aisle, and they had the 4 for £6 on all the large bottles. So I've gone for a mixture. So yeah, I'm rocking a bit of a Kingfisher tonight because I had the homemade butter chicken for dinner because I'm an unbelievable cook. With homemade naan bread.
Was that what Laura? Right. Nice. What man did you have?
Yeah, I had a few chilies.
I can't. I'm gonna take some shit. We're on a butter chicken tomorrow, so I'll tuck my cock between my legs and crack on. Shall I?
I think quite like butter chicken actually. I also like a korma. I like the sweetness of it, but I do like.
You are a spice man.
Hot the better for me. Yeah.
You can't beat a bit of a kick in a curry.
Yeah. We'll have to get Gaz on and Webby to talk about the file that I made him once. Made my mate ill for a weekend. I had it on the Friday night. He was still ill on the Monday. That's not because of the cooking. It's because he's a vagina.
Jamie, are we going weak this week or?
Oh no, it's I've already drank it all. Vodka and Pepsi Max cherries back.
I like it.
I managed to buy some vodka. You never had
the Dragon Ball Z glass?
I always alternate between the two. So I've got Viking Quest from Entourage this week because victory, and yeah, I always go between the two. And then when we had that beer, I was going for a Bud Light one, just to go for a bit of fun. But yeah, vodka is back. It's Pepsi Max cherry. It's beautiful. I absolutely love Pepsi Max at this moment in time. It's just beautiful.
Oh, it's just heartburn in a bottle.
It is.
Oh, yeah, I went to get some Pepsi Max cherry to have with some comfort.
It's beautiful.
And yeah, it is, but I picked up Pepsi Max raspberry by mistake.
That's really nice, though. It tastes like a slush puppy.
It's disgusting. Especially when you're expecting Pepsi Max Cherry and you don't even look at the bottle and you have a swing. You know, what the fuck's up with that? Oh, raspberry. That's what's up.
Yeah, because they put them right next to each other and they look exactly the same on.
Because I can't reach the top shelf.
Have Pepsi just gone to like the nearest vape juice manufacturer and gone, what flavours shall we make?
Yeah. I can't stand any like the flavoured sort of. Do you know what? I'm the same with beer. Like, you know, when you get like these strawberry beers and like you like black dark fruits quite a bit, don't you, Matt?
Yeah, I do like
I'm
dark
not,
strawberry and lime Copperberg.
I'm not a big fan of it for some reason. I don't know, because I like, well, I say I like my fruit. Look at me, I don't really, but I don't mind like orange cordial. So if you maybe did an orange beer, maybe I'd go for it.
Robinson's.
Orange Boom. Oh, right, okay, yeah, I might have a shot at this.
Good stuff, mate. Kicks your tits in though.
How'd you spell it?
Yeah, I've got. To be fair, I picked up a bottle of Warsteiner when I went Asda. I thought, Jesus Christ, I've had some heavy nights drinking that, so I just went with the one bottle there. Every demon in me was telling me to just get 4 Warsteiner, but then
go for it.
I looked to my right hand side and Laura was there, and I thought she won't look good with the black eye, so.
Mate, be careful saying that. Not me, at the moment, Jesus Christ, don't forget, we're all fucking murderers, all right? So, fuck me. I should just say, like, I'm not being insensitive. Like, I genuinely think it's a disgrace what's happened. But fucking hell, there are some serious issues out there with tar and with the same brush. So don't drink water and don't punch your missus.
I think what Tom meant to say was he couldn't be doing with himself having a black eye.
Yeah, that probably happened with Laura, if I'm honest. She picks and chooses when she watches the podcast, and she tends to watch the ones where I say something about her.
She's listening the other side of that door. Watch this one.
She will be.
You'll be in the shower tomorrow morning and you'll just get round the door. They'll left up round the shower door.
The empty bottle of Warsteiner being winged at him.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. See, that's what I mean, Orrin. I said we just get on to chatting shit.
Yeah.
Talking shit, yeah.
Goes away
People
from the
tuning
NFL
in going,
podcast.
oh, yeah, fucking NFL podcast. I can't wait. Oh, my God, they'll beat women up. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It's just an excuse for me to drink on a Monday. That's the only reason we put this thing together.
Is that literally? I record on I only usually drink on a weekend, so I usually drink Saturday, Sunday, sometimes Friday, and then we do this on a Monday. And then usually I record on a Tuesday for a film podcast. If I do that, I was like, I need to have a drink now because you guys make me have a drink when I'm podcasting. And then it's like Wednesday, I also record. Well, I've got to have a drink on that one. So now I'm drinking 5 days out of the week.
I need to sort it out because, like, when I was begging for sponsorships, I stuck to the same beer. So I wasn't. We've been on this calorie deficit. I factor in a beer on a Monday, but when I went to, if I was say drinking Corona, I wouldn't on a weekend. I'm not bothered. I'm not a massive drinker at home anyway. But I was like, well, I'm having a Corona on Monday, so I don't really need it. I went to Asda, got these 4 different beers, doing tea on Saturday. Gone into the fridge, and I was like, oh, there's an Asahi there. Oh, I was like, right, beer, right, done. Now I'm on a Kingfisher here. I've had this. I'll go back into the fridge in a bit and I'll be like, what's that? Laura's talking out. It's just a killer. Like, I need to stick to the one beer.
I've always been a bit of a fucker for it, so I'm not a massive fan of like pubs, like crowded spaces, nightclubs, etc. I did my bit back in the day. I don't remember most of it because of the first letter of the alphabet, and it's something that I'm just not interested in. So I always have drunk at home, and through lockdown, fucking hell, I bet I've done. I know. Just in the past, well, in January and February, I went through 7 bottles of Jameson. I know that much. A bottle of Woodford Reserve. And that's, you shouldn't be sipping that on Tuesday evening. My missus is on a calorie deficit as well, Tom, actually. She's fasting and she's on a calorie deficit. She's doing really well, right? But she's like, well, yeah, you know, like, well, I need something to drink. I have to have something to drink. She doesn't speak like that because she's American. But she's like, I have to have something. So she's fucking on the vodka, right? So she's going through like a bottle of vodka a week. It's bad. And then there's me with a fucking draft beer machine. I'm like, oh, I'm on here. I'm like, yeah, I'm banging into the NFL. I fucking can't spell NFL, right? It's ridiculous.
That's a lot smarter than people will give it credit for, that gag. But I think, for those who do listen who aren't from Blackpool, we are all from Blackpool and we do all have a problem. If there's any sponsors out there who want to help us get off the booze, fuck off. We're not interested.
Fucking get around here for a beer.
We'll show you where you're wrong.
COVID has probably cleaned up quite a bit. Like, cause I probably pre-COVID I'd have a binge once a month, and it'd normally be on a night out. I'm not a massive home drinker. Laura doesn't really drink that much, so I just don't do it really at home. But now, like, I'm meant to be going Benidorm at the end of May on a lad's holiday, and it's carnage. Like, we go every year, and I'm sat in and I'm like, I might need to start trying to build my tolerance up, because I'm worried about going and just having 3 beers and being smashed. Like, I did 3/4 bottle of champagne on the bloody awards night, and I was livid. I shut my laptop down, and Laura found me rooting in the kitchen for food because I was that pissed. She was like, "What are you doing?" I'm just hungry. Like, it's bad. I've got no tolerance at all, and I'm a big lad. You know, I should be able to suck, but now it's like, oh, I'm dreading it. I need to get one of them beer machines to start getting through the 10 kegs.
Fucking come and borrow mine, mate. Honestly,
it's like say though. At least though, when you record here, you're only having like 1 beer, maybe 2 sometimes. Imagine we get into person, and if we do record an episode, another beer, please, another beer.
Yeah, that'll be a problem.
We've finished recording now. Yeah, so have another drink before we go.
6-hour episode.
Before you know it's 12.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it's 12 o'clock. You've already 5 beers down. You got a taxi done.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Actually, yeah. Let's stick to doing it from home.
Monday Madness every week.
Yeah. But it'd be great though, getting guests on, wouldn't it? Coming for a piss up, come on.
Having to ring like walkabout. Have I left my fucking computer there again?
The thing is though, you know what? It would be fucking so cool, wouldn't it, to be able to just sort of do a podcast and host it from like Dirty Blondes with a big fucking pizza, some chicken wings. And it's doable. It is doable.
That's the plan, really. I host my comedy gigs from Dirty Blondes, so get on with Jake and all the staff there as well. So it is the plan to hopefully do, even if we do one a month, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
where we're all together and pizza and whatnot, and just get delivered on a Monday.
Definitely doable. But the thing is, as well, is you can. The great thing about that as well is you've got the little TVs in the booths. You can stick on like a classic NFL game in the background and stuff, and you can theme it up as well, can't you? You know, you can do exactly what you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the big I suppose bigger plan. Like we've always professed to, you know, be as amateur as anyone you will have ever seen, and I don't think we ever really want to move it massively away from it. I mean, you've come on and blown us out of the water and done 2 backgrounds. I don't think we've ever done a background in our whole season.
Did you remember the award show? The award show.
Sorry, the award show.
I have a green screen with all different.
Yeah, you did. You've got to have. The thing is you've got to have good backgrounds, but they've got to be high quality.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only thing is, unfortunately, as you'll see here, is my computer's that old, it doesn't work properly unless I've got my green screen. So
I'm really surprised at how well this works. Let's have Dolphin.
It's very, very good. Like,
that is a beauty, that, isn't it?
I'm just going through like. So I was saying before we went live, you weren't here, Jamie, but like I've hardly used my laptop because my business has been closed because of COVID. I've not used it for ages, so I booted it up and I was like, I better just see if Zoom works. And it was like, you need to update, otherwise, you know, you're knackered. And so I updated it and I was like, oh, look at this, I can do digital backgrounds. This is brilliant. And I'm sort of wishing I'd have done more. Because they're just great.
I need to get it going. Like, I tried looking at it last time, and I don't know if I need to update my Zoom or something because I can't do anything. You've got to stick with this terrible flag behind me.
What?
I mean, have you tried it? You know the videos at the bottom. There's like a little arrow.
Yeah, well, we had a
next
look,
to the
didn't we?
video,
When we
and
were
it
trying it on
says-
awards, and I couldn't even get a background. So,
No.
You can
it's
do
not
all
the-
this gear as well, like.
Yeah. Yeah, doing all of that, the video filters, because I did that for the award show when we started. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
let's go in the cinema. We'll have a great time. Here we go. And it's like,
I don't understand why Jamie doesn't log in like this. I just don't get it.
That is perfect.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's not a technology podcast, is it?
things you can do on Zoom.
It's an anything goes podcast.
We'll have some free fucking stocks in Zoom, please.
Oh,
Join us next week when we talk about how not to use MSN Messenger.
yeah. We normally obviously ask people what their pick for Super Bowl is, but you've already told us because you put money on it.
Yeah, I put money
that's
on.
the dream, though, isn't it? Like you always put
That's
it on,
the
but you know,
dream, yeah.
you know they're not gonna win. Who do you think's actually gonna win?
I don't know, I genuinely don't know. I just don't know. I mean, you've got I think Stafford, obviously initially I was like, who the fucking hell's Matt Stafford? And it was explained to me by a Lions fan. They were like, well, look, this guy is absolutely fucking mustard, but you'll never see him. You'll never see him on Red Zone. You'll never see anything in the Bleach report about him because he's throwing to nothing. Like there's just nothing around him to help him. And so I did my little bit of research. I watched a few highlight reels and watched the very famous sort of him throwing with a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
Not his throwing down. We should play that up. And I think he's got it, and I think he looks incredible. All right, he's getting on a bit, if you can say that. But I think he's got that. He must have the mentality. I think I can't quite remember off the top of my head who it was. It said it in the Rams camp, but it was either Donald or Ramsey. But one of them said, like, he cannot come here. He cannot come to Los Angeles without a Super Bowl mentality.
Yeah.
There's no point in coming to play for the Los Angeles Rams unless you have got the desire and the mentality to go out there and win a Super Bowl, or at least get to one. I mean, it's obviously that's the whole point. That's what week in, week out teams are going out and trying to do. They're trying to get to the playoffs and the Super Bowl. And I think Stafford will have had to have really sort of make it known that, yes, I can get you there. You have got what I need to get you there. Obviously, it's clear that we've got the defence to do it. But we were, like I said earlier, we were just lacking in the. Sorry, I hate saying defence and offence because we were clearly very much lacking in the offence, and I think, and it sounds silly. Well, it doesn't really sound silly because the quarterback is everything realistically at times, aren't they? So I think just that one change would make a difference, possibly. And that's quite contradictory versus what I was saying before, but it just depends, doesn't it? It depends how you utilise what we've got. And like I say, Akers, I think Rams. If I had to choose another team that wasn't the Rams, I think in a sort of super ideal way, I don't know. I don't know if I'd really want to see this happen. I think this is what could potentially happen, and I think it'd be a good way to seal it off. But I think same as this year, I think you get Chiefs Bucks and have a Chiefs win this time out. But I can't really say that I'd be happy with that. And I don't actually know if I can say I see it happening. Like I think I did just say like
I don't think
it could happen, but I don't know. Yeah. I think the Chiefs have got something missing. I think they've been exposed a bit.
I hope it crumbles now. Everyone's just going to look at that game and be like, well, this is how we beat the Chiefs. Let's kill Mahomes.
Well, hang on.
That would be happy.
Let's kill
Wait a
Mahomes.
minute. Wait. Who is the only team who beat them full strength in the regular season when Mahomes wasn't injured. So if anybody's going to be looking at the teams that know how to beat Kansas City, they're going to be looking at how the Raiders dismantled them in Kansas City with a fully fit Mahomes and a fully fit team. But we just did the damage for the Bucs to capitalize on.
Yeah.
So if anything, we won the Super Bowl.
You're the blueprint.
Well, yeah.
When your missus comes over to you
us?
and says, "I can't open this bottle of pop. Please, can you open this bottle of pop for me?" And then you do it, and she goes, "Well, I weakened it for you."
Yeah.
Basically, the Raiders are your missus.
Essentially, it's. I say that.
Yeah, but what happened?
Why? Because you'd Raider.
Hey,
What happened the game after? What happened the game after the Chiefs?
Good evening. What happened the game after the Chiefs? We won the Super Bowl that day, so the rest of the season.
You then lost to the winners of the Super Bowl.
Patrick Mahomes was it 1 in 26 off regular season games or something he'd lost, and that one was against us in their stadium. So the rest of the season was irrelevant because we took, when a boxer loses their title, the person who beats them becomes the champion. Essentially, we became the champion, and we just stopped. We stopped playing. So I don't even care what happened after that. My season was over after that Kansas City game. If it pretty much was anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Let's face it, off the way that they performed the previous season, that's a massive result, isn't it?
I will dine out on that Kansas City game, probably for the next 30 years.
Well, hopefully you can have another winning season in that 30 years as well.
Well, Raiders last won the Super Bowl in 1984, the year I was born.
No shit, really?
Yeah.
That's not the last time they got to the Super Bowl, though, surely.
No, last time they won it. Last time they got there. Last time they got there, they lost. Funny story, actually. The Raiders lost to the Bucs, and
shit.
Yeah. And the season before that, the Raiders.
The only time we won it before this year.
The season before that, the Raiders traded their head coach John Gruden to the Buccaneers, and he took the Buccaneers to the Super Bowl and beat his former team.
Are you kidding me?
No. And now the Raiders head coach is that John Gruden again. So
no way.
Yeah, it's a mad sort of carousel of how it's come around again.
Well, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's mind blowing. I love shit like that, though. I really, really like.
Yeah,
Matt really likes it as well.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely love it. I don't actually. I've said it a few times. I don't actually mind the Bucs. I just really, really don't like Tom Brady.
You've only got another year of him, don't worry.
When he leaves, or
sign a 4-year contract.
When he leaves, retires, or dies, whichever comes first. Hopefully, the latter. It's I'll go back to quite liking the Bucs again.
Yeah. I love you, Brady.
Why not? Why not?
It is the best.
It's not even my Brady hatred hasn't even developed from this podcast, because I've had many an argument with other people years ago about my hatred for Tom Brady. So it's not even theatre for the podcast.
This pod has heightened my Rodgers hate. He's fully to blame.
I fucking love Rodgers, man.
Get him off. Jamie, get him off.
I fucking love the guy.
3 out of 4 of us like Aaron Rodgers in this podcast right now.
He's a fucking prick.
He's fucking class, man. Do you know what? Honestly, when I was doing them, what they call fucking, I don't know, pick your favourite team shit quizzes. It asks you the most ridiculous questions.
Are you a cheese?
What would you like? Would you like a chocolate brownie, or would you like French fries with salt on? Well, first of all, who's not having salt on fucking French fries? And second of all, of course you're going to have a chocolate brownie, fucking idiot. But yeah, and it kept coming back with, it was like Packers or Pats, and Packers. I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like, obviously in my little bubble, my little world, Packers are probably one of the better known teams. I mean, that goes without saying. But to me, I think they were probably like the most famous team. They were the team that I'd always see.
Anyway,
yeah. I remember watching a few little clips of Rodgers, and I think he's fucking fantastic QB anyway. But one of the things that I did watch was I watched a few like mic'd ups and the guy's fucking hilarious. He's so fucking funny.
The mic'd ups are so good, aren't they?
They're good. They're very good, yeah.
But I'm not a fan of him, but Philip Rivers is fucking ace because he's retired and stuff. I watch quite a lot of him, and he's
hilarious.
He's very, very religious and doesn't swear. And some of the words he uses instead of saying things like he doesn't say, he won't even say "God damn it." So he says other things that sound like it and stuff. And it's just he's so good. He's so good.
I'll have to watch that. It was funny, where was I? I can't remember where I was. I was driving anyway, and I thought to myself, "Fucking hell!" And it's it's weird. Obviously, I've watched most of the episodes. I'm not gonna say I've watched every episode of the podcast at the start.
You've already watched more than Gary by watching one.
But I've watched a fair few, and I'm thinking, I hope I'm allowed to swear because I'm terrible. And I harked back to one of my ex-girlfriends and her parents, like they wouldn't even let her say bloody. And I remember being in the back garden, we were having a barbecue, and I'm a bit of a band in the kitchen and like barbecue and that. And they were like, "Oh, why don't you?" He was a Geordie. Why don't you do the So I was like, yeah, fine, no problem. And I always used to do like sort of a bit of accents and that, like try and get involved with it. And there was a seagull looking, right? So I'm cooking these sausages, and the seagull fucking swoops and pinches the sausage, and I'm just literally about to go, "You fucking wanker!" Like, and I've gone, "You flipping flower pot!" Like, and and I've just the first thing I've seen is a flower pot. I've just gone for it, and I thought, "Oh shit! I hope I'm not going to do that." I need to watch something with Griffiths marked up.
We probably said about 5 times, I reckon, like, might try and curb the swearing this week. Might try and curb the swearing, and it just doesn't happen because one of us will trigger the other one. That'll bring something up, like someone will mention Green Bay or Aaron Rodgers or how shit the Giants are, and I'll lose my head. Matt will lose his head about the Raiders, and it just ends up going terrible.
we tried really hard on like episode 4 or 5 or something, and I think it was within 4 minutes we'd had something like 7 Fs and whatever. And we're like, we'll fuck that right up, haven't we?
The thing is you're fucking catering to your market anyway. At the end of the day, if people don't like it, they're going to tune out, and I think it's a very realistic thing. I mean, obviously, as somebody that owns a business, I learned very early on, you can't please everybody. If you could please everybody in this world, you'd be a millionaire overnight. It's as simple as that. And I think ultimately, like what you guys are doing, it's clearly working. Albeit, even if at the moment it's like, oh, okay, well, we're only getting X amount of views on this video, X amount of views on this video, and we'd like to reach this milestone and whatnot. It happens organically, and it's the only way to do it. Because ultimately what's going to happen is people are going to come and they're going to click on it, and, they might be watching it on the TV, and the son might be being homeschooled, and they'll go, "Oh, he's swearing, I'm going to have to turn it off, I won't watch that again." Well, you're not the demographic, mate, so fuck off and homeschool your son.
Yeah.
We'll cut that and we'll use that as our promo.
Yeah. Next Google ad. Orange is naming it.
Demographics, so fuck off and homeschool your kid. Join us next week.
But yeah, I think what you're doing is spot on. I really enjoy it, and like I say, it's given me somewhere to. I mean, I'm not the most active in the group. I'll be honest. I am notoriously terrible for replying to messages and whatnot. Anyway, I just get that many fucking messages, and I can't get through them. And so I do go on the group. But what I'll tend to do is I'll go on. When I first joined it, I was very active.
That at sign and just like, have I been mentioned? No, who cares?
Yeah, it's nice to sort of. I'll have a flick through and I'll sort of skip 20 or 30 messages, and then I'll read one and go, right, what we're talking about here? Okay, it's Meghan Markle's tits. We'll fucking crack on. Blah, blah. And then I take from it what I need, but it's given me a really good platform to sort of learn and meet like-minded people, and I think. Ultimately, that's how this podcast is going to grow. I think you're doing what you're doing is spot on because you're targeting similar, like-minded people, and then ultimately what happens is, like I say, organically it just grows and gets bigger. And you'll be sat there going, fucking hell, I wish we only had 100 subscribers. Because we're never happy.
Because one of them just pulled up the episode where we talked about beating up women.
Cancel culture. Game over. Done.
I mean, you mentioned Meghan Markle's tits there. Other former princesses are available for those interested.
The old former princesses are dead, aren't they?
That's where we go. That is where we go. That is where we go. But no, to be fair,
still available.
We didn't really start this out to sort of get growth or do anything. What we wanted to do was get more people involved with us. One of the things I really enjoy about the NFL is actually speaking to UK people about it and my mates about it. You know, like Phil's come on board, even Dan now. I never thought Dan had joined in. You know, it's just like, but then you also then think, well, is that a bit of FOMO, which is again what we wanted to create, was a bit of people going, actually, these guys really enjoy it. Why don't I have a look at this? And then you know you can build a thing. And, you know, the group talks about having a meetup and stuff. That's exactly what we wanted, is just finding a bit of a community. And if it stops at where it stops there. We'll still keep doing this, and all we care about is having a beer on a Monday and having a chat about the sport that we love. And just getting to know people's stories, you know, like having you on and you know, every person we've had on. And I just think we'll continue to do it. We're not, I mean, don't get me wrong, if someone wants to make advertisers and get us 1 million subscribers over the night, by all means we'll take it. But
if we have to.
Yeah, but we're not about that. We wouldn't sit there and try and false promote it or anything. We're here just to have a laugh. Simple as that. And we just love having people on.
It's the best way. People take life way too seriously. Yeah. Don't they? And it's something that like we found with the industry that I'm in. Just people are so self-righteous. People are so self-important. People are so self-obsessed, and it's just, you know, at the end of the day, what you're doing, you want to do it to you just want something that you can happily sit back and say, I really enjoy doing this and I'm proud of it. It's that simple. It is that simple. I mean, talking about like sponsorship and stuff, obviously, I mean, I'm not in any position to sponsor anybody because I've had a business for 18 months and it's been open for 8 months. But I definitely want to get something up in the shop. Because there's a lot of lads that come in that are NFL fans. So like in my shop, I usually have Sky Sports News on, but without going too much into it, there's been a bit of an issue. I'm sure you can imagine what, because I don't fucking pay for it. But I'm allowed to put NFL Game Pass on because I do pay for that. Now, much to the disappointment of my staff, probably going to have NFL games on back to back all day. So it's one of those things, you know. There's a lot of scope for something like that because I've got a big fucking flat screen in the waiting area, and then there's like a shelf to the side of it, which is where I used to hang my Jared Goff jersey. Poor Jared.
Now it's on fire.
Now it's on eBay. On fire.
Probably worth more now.
But there's a shelf there, so I've just this isn't a fucking Orrin's business podcast either, is it? Literally talk about everything but NFL on it, don't we?
It's just
there's a shelf to the side of it, so yeah. So I was thinking the other day, so I've just redecorated and fucking hanging bits and bobs up, and I was like, it'd be really cool. So I've got in my shop, I've got a lot of skateboards, and I've got a couple of them. I've got a couple of quite rare skateboards, and I like to have them on show, and I always put them in places where they've got like a bit of a focal point. I was thinking it'd be really fucking cool to get a Third and Short NFL podcast skateboard and put it on that shelf, and then it's on the eye line of everybody. Then it's in the waiting area. But it's just something I was thinking about. Because I'd really like to just at least something, even if you just have like, I don't know, some fucking flares or a baseball hat or anything that's there just so people can see it. There are a lot of lads. I mean, we probably don't see as many people come through the doors as your average barbers because we're quite scheduled. So I bet we'll probably do about 180, 200 a week. So you're looking at 800, no, probably looking at about 600 people a month. Because obviously there's some repeats. There's 600 people a month.
10% of that's still 60, isn't it?
That's it. And even if only 10% of it are, let's say 5% of it are into the NFL, and only, that's 30, and then only half of them start viewing, then that's 15. But then those 15 people are going to have friends that are into NFL, otherwise they wouldn't be into it in the first place. And if they've got one friend each and half of them, that's another 7.5. So it just motors on. Motors on.
So I think it's a perfect opportunity to plug your Twitter handles, your Facebooks and stuff for your business. So feel free to.
Dead boring at the moment because I hardly use it. Let me have a look. I've definitely not got a Twitter account because I don't really do Twitter anymore. But I've got an Apple logo fucking everywhere.
Look at
it. But yeah, my Instagram. Well, first of all, like my business is a barbershop, but it's more of like a men's salon, so it's very sort of high end, catered to.
When I was thinking about the intro, I wanted to call you a male groomer, but then I was like, better not.
Better not.
So barber sort of underplayed you a bit, so more like a tailored barber, I'd say.
It is. Well, that's exactly what my tagline is. Yeah, tailored barbering. We just don't. There's no time in my life for shit haircuts. There's no time in my life for somebody going into a barbershop, sitting down and going, "Okay, 2 back and sides, lad, please," and off they go in 10 minutes. And it's just we try to. But where the business is positioned, it's in the town centre, and it's on what will at some point be like a main thoroughfare into like the new conference centre of the Winter Gardens, where the Conservative Party are going to be holding meets and this conference centre is going to be used by some of the most high-profile business people in Europe, never mind Blackpool. So it was always a case of get in here whilst it's hot. And we can start to, sort of attract the right people. And it's like, at the moment, I don't really give a shit. I'm doing home visits because obviously I can't open my business and I'm earning no money. And my point has been proven, some of the people's houses that I'm visiting, they're absolutely gorgeous houses. And the people that we cater to are people that give a shit about, how they look and how the house looks and what car they drive. And at the end of the day, it's business. I'm here to make money, and that was always it. It was like cater to your highest denominator. So let it be known that we're not just a barbershop. And that's what I've done, and it's going okay. It's doing all right. So I'm pretty happy. And if you do want to see how obnoxious and pretentious and fake we are on Instagram, you can follow us at so our Instagram handle is we_are_handsome, so it's handsome without an H. we_are_handsome, and the branding, it's sort of, again, it's synonymous with that sort of attitude towards the market of cutting hair. So handsome, as I've just said, is handsome without H, but it's not actually called handsome, it's called handsome. So it was always the fact that it would be a barbershop and some. So we've got loads of big plans for the future. Probably not with this location, probably with another location. I think this location will always be just, top quality haircuts, nice coffee and cold beer. But I've got big plans for the future.
Look forward to it. I mean, speaking from experience, when as much as I didn't come to the one you're at now, we came before Dan's wedding, and
of course,
it isn't.
That's how I know you, of course.
It isn't just a haircut. It's not. It's people I speak to, that go, they get excited about going because you're going for a beer and you're chatting with someone that is real, and they're decent people, and I've never met anyone else that works for you at the moment, but no one's ever had anything bad to say. You go and have a beer and you talk about anything that you want at that time and relax and get a decent bardic chop. I mean, it's pointless me coming, but I think I'm going to start coming for my beard because I mean, just look at it. What is the point? Until you start doing the glue on wigs, you're not touching his head. But
right, I'm down for exploring the long wings.
Yeah,
please do it. Well, please.
Can you imagine Tom coming in fucking look at me?
That sharpen it up, please.
It's happening one day, I'm telling you. But you know, for those Blackpool people that aren't aware or are aware and just aren't bothered, and like Orrin says, just go for a 10-minute short back and sides. Take the time to go, even if you just want to test it out. It's not that much dearer than what barbers charge nowadays for having you in the seat for 5 minutes.
It's not. You know what? I mean, it is on the surface. It is expensive. You know what we charge, but I mean, I've had some guy, it's a previous client, say, you know, he wasn't. I wouldn't say he was. I'd say he was 80% happy with his service, which isn't what we like to do, but. He left his review saying, you know, you're more expensive than barbers in Manchester, which it's not true. You know, I know we're not, because I've done my market research, because I'm not a fucking idiot. Yeah. And it, you know, I gave him the opportunity to come and have his issues rectified, and he just didn't take us up on it. So I wasn't that arse at the end of the day. If you're not going to fucking, you're a dick at that point. You know, we tried to rectify it, you weren't arse, but yeah, you know, his stance was that we're more expensive than Manchester, or as expensive as Manchester, and it's simply not true. But we are more expensive, you know. But
yeah, but
I firmly believe that if you come in somewhere like us and you're paying what we charge versus your regular price, you will come to us once every 4 weeks rather than once every 2 weeks, and it works out cheaper in the long run anyway.
You tell me where you're going to get a free beer or free coffee or what have you, and sitting.
Exactly.
I used to hate going to barbers and having to have that false chit chat. You know, like, yeah, I'm not about that. It's not. I mean, so
the great thing here is that it's completely niche as well, isn't it? Because the people that we're talking, you know, the people that are going to be listening to this are going to be able to come along and speak about NFL.
Yeah.
You know, quite simply, you know, if anybody is gonna pop in based on this podcast, they are going to be able to sort of sit there, as long as you sit down in my chair and talk about the
NFL. One of the other guys hasn't got a clue. What the fuck are you on about?
What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah.
So, you support the Los Angeles Rams. Los Angeles fucking who? The only thing I ram. Yeah. You don't want to be sitting down with them. They're all like, to be fair, like one of the lads, he's just not arsed. He's in a world of his own. He's not arsed, but my other lad, James, he's a West Ham fan, so as a Blackpool fan. West Ham fan that used to go to Preston North End games. And he's just like, what the fuck are you watching? Why are you watching the Super Bowl? It's funny.
You'll get it. You get it, don't you? There's many of them out there, but we'll convert them all one day.
I genuinely think there's a big takeover on the horizon, isn't there? I genuinely believe this, and it's another reason why I think the timing for me to get into watching American football is so good, because the Sky coverage is very good. You know, I still prefer watching the American coverage.
Yeah,
personally, the Sky coverage is very good. You know, we've got Jeff on there regularly, and he's class.
The show, Jeff.
Yeah, he has. That was fucking great. And I think the more people that I sort of speak to, and to be fair, like I've not worn this out in public yet, because obviously I'm not allowed to go out in public, not because I'm a nonce, because of lockdown.
You're a male groomer.
Because we're a male groomer. And I genuinely believe that people will acknowledge, you know, the fact that, oh, there's a fellow NFL fan, and I think that's gonna, for the people, you know, like yourself, Matt, and Jamie, where you've been NFL fans for a longer time than some of us. I think you guys are going to start to notice it, and I think genuinely what's going to happen is over the next few years, let's face it, the Premier League's awful. The Premier League is awful, and the stuff that's been spoken about within, you know, domestic football is going to ruin it for the rest of its existence. Ironically, it's going to become very much like the NFL. But that's just not what we're used to, so we won't like it and we'll detach from it. And I think a lot of people are going to get into the NFL. And let's face it, Murdoch knows what he's doing. He wouldn't be pushing the NFL like he is on Sky if he didn't know what he was doing. And I think over the next sort of 5 years, 10 years, which isn't a long time at all, 10 years, it'll disappear. I think it's going to be massive. I genuinely think it's going to be massive. I would not be surprised to go to Manchester and see like a Fanatic store, for example, selling merch from all over the world. You see it now anyway, don't you? With the little stalls that sell like the hats from the NFL, NHL, NBA, etc. But I think you're going to start to see that on a bigger scale. I think you will, be able to go into a bar on a Sunday evening, not just one little niche spot in Blackpool. I think you'll be able to go to Manchester and walk down the streets and see like 15 different bars with games on and fans in there. And I think it's going to be really good. And I think, this prospect of having an NFL UK franchise is going to also, I think that's just going to become a little bit more clear. And I think we're going to get some real movement on it. I wouldn't be surprised, in all honesty, if they just go for like 2 expansions and just have 2 UK teams, because there's a space for it now with Wembley and the new Spurs ground. All right, they're both down in London, but I mean, Everton, they're about to build a new stadium, aren't they?
Yeah.
As far as I remember, so have one in the north, have one in the south. Like you just don't know, do you? You just don't know. But I do see it growing exponentially in this country.
It's got plenty of growth in it, and it's brilliant. And hopefully we get to see it through massively.
Yeah, as long as none of us become princesses, we'll be all right, won't we?
Well, I've got the tits for it. But yeah, on that note, listen, mate, brilliant. Thanks very much for coming on. It's been a great episode. We want to continue having people on, and we spoke about after free agency and draft, having sort of episodes with individuals from each team in one division. And I think you're our only Rams fan in the group, to be fair, but you're our allocated one for that. So look forward to having you on again, and keep lurking in that group, and I can't wait. Ready looking for your next group victim. But appreciate it, mate. Thanks so much for coming on. And I'm sure we'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you having me on, to be quite honest, considering I know fuck all.
You're fitting with us three, so.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.